Hermes Agent is one of those tools that does a lot more than its quiet reputation suggests. It comes from Nous Research, and the core idea is simple. It's an autonomous agent that lives on your own server, it remembers what it learns, and it gets more capable the longer you keep it running. Most AI tools reset every single session. You explain your project, your setup, your conventions, and then next time you open it, you're starting from scratch again. Hermes flips that. It holds context across sessions, it runs scheduled jobs while you're offline, and it slowly builds a real picture of your environment so it never has to relearn the same thing twice. It lines Hermes up against OpenClaw, Claude Code, Codex CLI, and OpenCode. The page openly says the closest competitor is OpenClaw, since both are always on, self-hosted, open-source agents with memory, cron, and messaging. The differences they call out are that Hermes writes its own skills as a core behavior, while OpenClaw leans on a community marketplace. That Hermes tends to be more stable across updates, while OpenClaw has had documented release regressions and even security incidents involving malicious skills, and that Hermes runs natively in the Python and machine learning ecosystem. That last point matters more than it sounds, because most of these agent tools are built on Node, and being native Python opens the door to the whole data and ML world. The honest catch is that Hermes mostly lives in the terminal. You talk to it through a command line or through messaging apps. That's great if you're comfortable in a shell. For a lot of people, it's a wall. And Hermes does ship with an official web dashboard, so you'd think the terminal problem is already solved. It isn't. That dashboard is really an admin panel. It's built for managing configuration, API keys, your gateway, credentials, messaging pairing, cron jobs, things like that. It's the control room, not the cockpit. You can flip switches and check status, but it's not built for sitting down and having a real working conversation with the agent. So it's useful, but it's not the thing you reach for when you just want to chat and get work done. That's the gap Hermes WebUI fills, and before I install it, I want to walk through what the GitHub page actually promises, because the feature list is the reason this project matters. It's an open-source community project, and it already has over 12,000 stars, which tells you it's active and moving fast. The pitch is the best way to use Hermes Agent from the web or from your phone, and the headline claim is parity. Close to one-to-one parity with the Hermes command line, which means basically everything you can do in the terminal, you can now do from a clean browser tab instead. For this Hermes WebUI, there's no build step, no framework, no bundler. It's just Python on the back end and plain vanilla JavaScript on the front end. By language, the repo is roughly 3/4 Python and about a fifth JavaScript, with a little CSS and HTML. The server is a fairly lean HTTP routing shell with auth middleware. The streaming happens over server-sent events, so tokens appear as they're generated, and state lives outside the repo in your home directory under .hermes/webui, so your sessions and settings survive restarts. The whole thing is designed to sit on top of your existing Hermes agent and existing models without any additional setup, and it's serious about testing, with over 5,000 tests collected across hundreds of test files. For a community project, that's a strong signal that it's not just a weekend hack. Alright, let me actually install it, because the process is simple and that's the whole point. You clone the repo from GitHub, you change into the folder, and you run python3 bootstrap.py. That one command does the heavy lifting. It detects whether Hermes Agent is already installed, and if it's missing, it attempts the official installer for you. It finds or creates a Python environment with the right dependencies. It starts the web server and waits for the health check to pass. And then it opens your browser straight into a first-run onboarding wizard, unless you tell it not to, with a no-browser flag. There's also a shell launcher called start.esh, if you'd rather use that, and a control script called ctl.esh that wraps the daemon lifecycle, so you can start it in the background, check status, tail logs, restart, and stop, all without needing extra system tools. One thing to note, native Windows isn't supported for the Bootstrap yet, so you'll want Linux, Mac OS, or WSL2. If you'd rather containerize it, there's a Docker path too, and the simplest version is one container that runs the agent in process. You clone the repo, copy the example environment file, Run Docker Compose up and open localhost :8787. The container auto detects your user ID from the mounted home directory, so the files the agent writes stay readable by you. If you want to expose the port outside your own machine, you set a password environment variable because that's required the moment you leave localhost. There are also 2 and 3 container setups if you want the agent and the WebUI isolated, though there's an honest, known limitation worth knowing. In the 2 container setup, tools triggered from the WebUI run inside the WebUI container, not the agent container. So if you need things like Git or Node where the agent actually runs, the single container path is the cleaner choice. Once it's running, you land on the interface at localhost :8787, and the layout tells you how it thinks. It's 3 panels: sessions and navigation on the left, your chat in the middle, and a workspace file browser on the right. Down in the Composer footer, the bar where you type, you've got your model picker, your profile, and your workspace controls sitting right there while you write. There's a little circular ring showing token usage at a glance, so you always know how much context you've burned through. The chat itself is the first screen. Streaming is real, token by token, so answers appear as they're written. You can edit any past message and regenerate from that point, retry the last response with 1 click, and when the agent runs a tool, you get a card in line showing the tool name, the arguments, and a snippet of the result. It even renders mermaid diagrams in line and shows collapsible reasoning cards for models that think out loud. In my setup, the model selector at the bottom was running a GPT model through the OpenAI API with a reasoning effort set to medium, all switchable without leaving the chat. The Tasks panel is where scheduled jobs live, and there's an honest warning right at the top of mine. It says the gateway isn't configured, and that in a single container install, you can create and run jobs manually here. But for the scheduled ticks to fire on their own, you need the Hermes Gateway daemon running outside the WebUI. Good to know going in, so you're not staring at the screen wondering why a job didn't fire. There's also a Kanban board with columns for triage, to-do, ready, running, and done. You create tasks, assign them, set priority, and run a dispatcher that hands work to the agent. In mine, there was an outreach email campaign task in the Ready column, and clicking into it showed comments, events, links, and run history in one place. So it's not just chat. It's a lightweight project board wired into an agent that can pick up the work. The Skills panel shows everything the agent has saved, grouped by category, each with a toggle to turn it on or off. Mine had dozens, from managing Apple Notes and sending iMessages to delegating coding and generating diagrams. Memory is short but important. Holding your notes, a user profile, and an agent soul, all editable inline. So if the agent learns something wrong, you just fix it here. Insights gives you live system health for CPU, RAM, and disk, plus usage totals like sessions, messages, token count, and estimated cost. Logs is a live tail with severity filtering, and in mine, you could clearly see warnings about a provider getting marked unhealthy over a credit error, which is the tool being honest with you rather than failing silently. And settings is split across conversation, appearance, preferences, providers, plugins, and system, with the providers tab being the heart of it, showing which model providers are configured and which are just sitting there ready. So who's this actually for? And what would you do with it? The clearest fit is anyone who already runs Hermes on a server but doesn't want to live in a terminal, especially when they're away from their desk. You set it up once, tunnel in or put it on Tailscale, and you've got a full agent in your pocket. It's good for solo developers and small teams who want an always-on assistant that schedules its own work, like a cron job that scans a chat every morning and summarizes it, or one that runs a recurring research task overnight and pings you the results on Telegram. The Kanban side makes it useful for running small operations, like queuing up outreach or content tasks and letting the dispatcher chew through them. The skills system makes it a slow compounding investment, since the longer you use it, the more it knows how to do without being told. And because it's provider agnostic and self-hosted, it fits people who care about keeping their conversations, memory, and data on their own hardware rather than someone else's cloud. The thing I keep coming back to is that none of this requires giving up the terminal. If you love the command line, it's still there and nothing changes. But for everyone who doesn't, or for the times you're on a phone or a laptop without your usual setup, this is the version of Hermes that finally feels approachable. It takes a genuinely capable agent that most people never touch because of the interface, and it puts a clean, fast, honest front end on top of it. For a free open-source project running on plain Python and vanilla JavaScript, that's a lot of value for one command. Alright, so that's it from the video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video.